Hey folks, this is Kalani. Season 2 of Midnight is almost here, but it's not too late to set yourself up for a smooth start to the season. There are quite a few things you can do to best prepare your characters for all of the new content coming our way, and you could save yourself a lot of time and effort so you can just focus on the fun stuff like the new raid, the Mythic Plus season, nightmare prey hunts, and bountiful delves. So let's go over everything you can do before Season 2 starts to best prepare your characters. Now before we jump in, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss another video. The first thing everyone will want to get done before Season 2 is to finish up the first section of the 12.1 story campaign. As you work through the questline, you'll unlock new features and content which can offer some pretty great gearing options and additional power from the Altar of Corrosion. We can currently complete 4 of the 6 chapters that make up the 12.1 campaign, so if your quest log progress doesn't look like this, you have a couple more quests to complete. The last set of quests in the current sequence asks you to complete the Altar of Fangs dungeon, and when you hand in the quest you'll unlock world quests, so as long as you've got world quests unlocked, you're all caught up with the story quests. Next week, we'll be able to pick up a quest to clear the new raid, the Venomous Abyss, and you'll be able to pick up a ring of your choice. The rings are only on the champion track, so they're not going to be a massive upgrade, especially with the season opening its doors to easier hero and myth track gear, but being able to choose some decent stats on a champion ring isn't too bad, and if you're clearing the raid anyway, it's just another piece of free loot. Hopefully, when we're able to complete the campaign, we'll also unlock an actual skip for all of your alts, so you'll want to finish the main story on at least one character as per usual. The next thing I would highly recommend you do is unlock at least tier 8 delves before the season starts. Delve tier progress was reset in patch 12.1, so you'll have to work your way through the tiers again to be able to run those higher tiers of delves. Tier 8 is where the gear rewards cap out, so that should be your minimum goal. Tier 11 will still provide the best rewards, including more renown progress, better crest rewards, and it's the only source of myth crests for solo content players after you reach the required renown rank. So tier 11 is your ultimate goal, but getting up to tier 8 in this first week is totally fine. That way you can jump straight into tier 8 bountiful delves when the season starts to earn some very easy champion gear. If you're having a blast in the new delves or the new story variants, it's also not a bad idea to spend some time leveling up Valeera. She gets stronger with every level up, which will help you take down higher tiers of delves next week, or even help you conquer the new Nemesis delve on the higher difficulty all by yourself to earn yourself the special Fabled achievement and the title for Season 2. Valeera can now go up to level 80, so the closer you get to that, the closer you'll be to her maximum power level. Now, leveling Valeera is actually much easier and faster in patch 12.1 thanks to a new curio, Dundun's Favour. This lets you pick up mislaid curiosities just by walking over them. This bypasses 2 pesky problems, having to wait to actually open the bag after clicking on it, and the fact that you can't usually open them while in combat. That doesn't matter anymore. You can happily just run over every bag you see and it will loot it automatically. These curiosities still contain a good amount of companion experience, making them one of the best ways to level up Valeera. If you want to maximize your experience gains for Valeera, you can choose one of the smaller delves like the Ring of Glory, run around picking up all of the mislaid curiosities, and then just reset the delve. Rinse and repeat, and you can have a max level Valeera in record time. This is much easier if you're playing a stealth class, but it's not strictly required. Now, speaking of curios, while we can't get many great gear rewards from delves right now, you can get and upgrade the Season 2 curios. Having the best curios at higher rarities could give you a decent power boost for the higher tiers in Season 2 or for taking down the delve nemesis. The best combat curio seems to be the Corrosive Bile Spear, while the best utility curio seems to be Dundun's Favour. So those are the ones you're hoping for. Something else to work on before the season starts is your gear. The higher the item level you get this week, the faster you can progress through content next week, so the easier time you'll have gearing up even more. With Mythic Plus and every raid available opening at the start of Season 2, the gear floodgates will well and truly be open. So to hit the ground running, you want to aim to get as many pieces of champion gear as you can in this first week. There are three main sources of big gear upgrades in this week that you'll want to focus on. The first is the Vaults of Atalutech. You can get Venom Cursed Fragments and Champion Crests from the Ancient Foe boss fights, and those fragments combine together to create random pieces of champion gear. Those bosses also drop satchels that contain 3 of 6 veteran gear, so that can help fill in some gaps as well. The weekly quests in this zone reward another Venom Curse fragment to add to your collection, as well as a Trove Hunter's bounty map for Season 2 delves. You can use this map and then run a Tier 8 delve or above to get a piece of hero track gear. That's the only piece of hero gear available in this first week, and there is no way to catch up with bounty maps if you miss it, so you definitely want to get that done. Remember to only use the map when you're ready to run a Tier 8 or above delve, otherwise you could end up with champion gear instead. And then the other main source of champion gear in this first week is Mythic Zero dungeons. You can run each dungeon once this week, and each boss has a chance of dropping champion gear, so it's worth clearing through every single seasonal dungeon if you want to maximize your gearing options. Even if you don't get any gear from your Mythic Zero dungeon runs, it's still worth getting some experience in these new seasonal dungeons. Some of them are returning from previous expansions and have changed significantly since we last saw them, and one of the dungeons is brand new. So even if you kind of remember how the other Midnight dungeons played out, getting some experience under your belt this week should help you push Mythic Plus Keystones faster and more reliably when the season starts for real. So pay attention in your runs to see what mechanics might become a problem when you can't just steamroll over the bosses. The same can be said for the new Lair boss in patch 12.1. Sure, we only have access to the world difficulty right now and it only drops veteran gear, but seeing the fight on this lower difficulty can help you prepare for next week when normal, heroic and mythic all open up at once. All of the same abilities will be present in the higher difficulties, so you can focus on the new mechanics instead of trying to learn the entire fight all at once. The Lair boss may end up being one of the easiest sources of hero and myth track gear if the boss ends up being quite easy to pug, and the more experience you have going into next week, the smoother your runs should go. Now, while you can't do quite the same thing for the Venomous Abyss raid, you can still study up on some of the boss mechanics by reading through the raid journal. It's another 8 boss raid, so there'll be plenty of variety between the bosses, and there are some very powerful items waiting for you towards the end of the raid. Some of the best gear available will be locked behind killing the last 2 bosses in the Venomous Abyss, so reading the boss abilities and preparing ahead of time should give you an edge to speed up your raid runs. If you've run all of the dungeons this week and you still need some gear, you can get veteran gear from a few other sources. You've got the older reputations offering veteran gear for Season 2, all weekly quests and world events reward caches that can contain veteran gear, and the Vaults of Atalutech Ancient Foes drop veteran gear very often. If you need specific pieces of veteran gear, it may be worth visiting the Field Accolade vendor if you have some of that currency left over from Season 1. You can buy specific gearboxes of veteran gear for 750 Field Accolades each. Or you can use veteran crests to craft item level 295 gear, which can help fill in some gaps as well. With the current crest cap of 100, you can only craft 1 piece of gear this week, but that might still be worth it if you've done everything else in the first week, and keep it in mind for next week when we can get another 100 crests. Something else everyone will want to do to prepare for next week is pick up the new crafting sparks, the Spark of Tides. You can get up to 3 sparks in this first week. Your first spark comes from either the Trailing Xalatath weekly quest in Silvermoon or the Curse Surge weekly quest on the Coiled Isle. The first one you complete should give you a spark, though there are a lot of reports of the Curse Surge weekly quest not rewarding a spark even if you do it first, so I would just stick with the Trailing Xalatath quest to save yourself some time. The second spark comes from the PvP weekly quests. You should be able to get it from either the Sparks of War Voidstorm quest or the Sparks of War Nighttal quest, but just like the other weekly quests, one quest is more reliable than the other. The Voidstorm quest rewards the spark more reliably even though it's not listed in the rewards, while the Nighttal quest seems to be bugged, so I would start with the Voidstorm quest and hope for the best. If you don't get your spark from that one, try the Nighttal one instead. And then the third spark is only available to players or characters that did not complete the Midnight World Tour quest in Season 1. If you can pick up this quest from Lorthramar in Silvermoon, you'll be 1 spark ahead of everyone else, which means you can craft your weapons or other best-in-slot crafter gear 1 week earlier. Being able to craft a two-handed spark weapon in the first week of the season is going to be a huge power spike, especially with myth crests becoming available at the same time. Now, getting your sparks is all fine and dandy, but you won't be able to do anything with them if you can't get an item crafted. Sure, you can go to the crafting clerk and fork over a boatload of gold to whatever crafter you manage to find in trade chat, or you can set up your own professions so you can craft your own rank 5 items for the rest of the expansion. Setting things up to be able to craft rank 5 gear really isn't too hard, and it isn't all that expensive anymore either. Just focus on one item at a time, put your knowledge points in the nodes that boost that weapon or item craft, and use the concentration mechanic to push your craft up to rank 5. It's also worth noting that you can now respec your profession knowledge points in patch 12.1, so if you started tinkering about with your professions and you regret your knowledge point placement, or you just want to focus on different items in Season 2, you can reset things to reshape your profession progress. Now this is a one-time reset, you can only do it once per profession, so be extra careful when spending your points if you do decide to make use of it. And then the last thing you should do to prepare on the gearing front is unlock as many rewards in the Great Vault as you can. You want to focus on the dungeon and world rows, as we only have one raid boss to kill this week. Clearing Mythic 0 dungeons will give you item level 302 rewards in the vault, and then to max out your rewards on the world row, you would usually need to complete tier 8 delves. The rewards from the world row will be restricted in this first week to champion 3 of 6 gear, which is item level 298. So I think you can get by with completing tier 6 or 7 delves. Curiously, tier 7 rewards on the world row currently say they reward item level 302 gear, and if you clear tier 8 delves afterwards, the reward drops down to item level 298. So that's a bit odd. There's always a chance of something going wonky there, so if you want to clear tier 8 delves on the off chance you can get some hero gear in the first vault, or just to make sure nothing goes wrong, that's going to be up to you. Now, we won't be able to pick up a bonus roll in the first vault of the season, so you'll mainly be looking for powerful trinkets or tier set gear. If you want to play the super long game, you can take tokens to buy a socket item instead, but that's kinda boring in my opinion. I'll be taking any tier gear if I do get lucky. Now, a question that always pops up when gear is involved is, should I save or spend my crests? And the answer usually depends on what content you do and how you like to play. But I'll be honest, I don't think there's any massive advantage you would get for saving crests right now, especially if you're planning on spamming Mythic Plus dungeons for the easy hero gear. So I say, do whatever you find most fun. If you want to spend them all, spend them all. Go crazy. With most content being locked for the rest of the week, now is also a good time to farm reputation with the new Zul'Jara's Forces faction if that's something you're interested in. You can pick up some very cool lower themed transmog options, including full armor ensembles and weapons, some interesting snake mounts, and there's a piece of champion gear at renown rank 9 that might be of interest to you if you aren't looking to spam dungeons or bountiful delves next week. If you find yourself with some spare time this week, it's not a bad idea to go through your bags and clean things up a bit. I don't know about you, but my bags are already full with junk gear, old gear that I've replaced, random items, transmogs, caches, and all the usual stuff I keep carrying around for some reason. In the new season, we'll be getting gear incredibly quickly, especially if you're going to be running some Mythic Plus dungeons, so having clean bags will help you keep an eye on potential upgrades, and it's always satisfying getting rid of all that junk. With your bags all nicely cleaned out, it's the perfect time to fill them back up with some consumables. There are some new consumables in patch 12.1 that you want to grab, like the new concentrated Silvermoon health potion, which heals for significantly more than the old ones, so that's totally worth stockpiling. For the rest, I would double check your class guides on Wowhead or Discord, as your preferred consumables may have changed in 12.1 and Season 2. Make sure you pick up some weapon enhancement effects like weapon oils, some flasks for that consistent damage boost, as well as some potions for those big throughput spikes. And then if you still haven't done it, because I know there are some folks in my guild still avoiding this one, now is the perfect time to finish off the Omnium Folio if you haven't done so already. These extra talents just provide free damage and healing, so you'll be behind everyone else if you decide to ignore it as we head into Season 2. With so much content opening up next week, between the new Mythic Plus season, the new raid, Nightmare Prey hunts, and Bountiful Delves, you don't want to be stuck catching up with this old content when everyone else is having a blast getting champion and hero gear out the wazoo. So finish off the Omnium Folio before the season goes live. Your future self will thank you for it, and you only have to do it on one character. All of your alts gain access to all of the talent points immediately. If you haven't started the questline, pop by the Magister's Missive in Silvermoon or check your map for any purple quests near the Magister's Terrace dungeon if you're partway through the folio. But that's everything we would recommend you get done to best prepare your characters for Season 2, so that's it for this video. What are you going to be working on before reset day rolls around, and what are you most looking forward to in Season 2? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. A big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon and to all of our members here on YouTube. You can see their names on screen. If you're interested in supporting the channel, you can find links in the description or click the join button just below the video. If you enjoyed the video or found it useful in any way, make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you're always kept up to date. Thanks for watching, folks. Good luck and have fun, and as always, I will see you next time.